Right now, organised crime is on the rise in South Africa. We've seen a spate of suspected high-profile contract murders, with rapper AKA being gunned down in Durban last month, along with his friend Dibs, and insolvency practitioner Cloete Murray, as well as his son, having been killed in Midrand recently. According to recent crime statistics, South Africa recorded more than 7,500 murders in the third quarter of last year. Let's speak now to Lizettle Lancater. She's from the Institute for Security Studies. Lizettle, thank you very much for your time here on ENCA. This obviously shows then that it's very easy to have a murder for hire in South Africa. We have no state security whatsoever.
Yes, I think we have been seeing that, the murder rate has increased substantively in the past 10 years, from about 30 murders per 100,000 population, now close on 45 murders per 100,000 population. That translates to close on 77 murders a day on average in this country. And we also see from the crime statistics that many of these are linked to group violence. So it's either taxi violence, vigilantism, gang violence, and robberies. So the fact is, too, that we have seen in the past decade a proliferation of firearms in our communities, and that especially during COVID period, a lot of organized crime syndicates actually expanded. If we look at the illicit cigarette trade, the alcohol trade. So today we are sitting with many organized crime and gang activity in our communities that are driving a lot of these crimes. And of course, they have access to hitmen, which are almost, you can say, a dime a dozen these days because of our brutal past and brutality that many people face and grow up with.
I mean, when the police minister released the crime statistics for, I think it was the last quarter of last year, the last quarter of last year, he mentioned, or they mentioned, the top brass of the SAPS, the three leading causes behind murders. And I think the second and third one were quite alarming for me because it looks like something that increased, which is vigilantism, but also retaliation murders, people killing people because they wanted payback for what they thought that person did to their family member or loved one. So that's something that's concerning, right, to see this come rising. It means that South Africans are taking the law into their own hands, and there's a deficit between the trust, our trust with the policing system.
The last survey done by the Human Sciences Research Council showed that only 27% of South Africans actually have confidence in the police. In Gauteng, that figure dropped to about 19%. So it's unsurprising that people feel that they are the only way themselves to get justice, that the courts have failed them, that the police have failed them. So we are seeing a rise in retaliations and vigilantism because of these factors.
And what should be done then in terms of our state security? Because this should be, something that, falls into place with cases like this. You mentioned hitmen a little earlier on, and with most of these cases, they go unresolved. We've got your Babita Deokaran, for instance, till today. We don't really know what happened there. People were arrested, but the case is just in the air.
Yes, so what we see with some of these cases, we see that the hitmen sometimes, as in the Senzo case, that the hitmen get arrested, but the kingpins are going free. And so that's the one thing, linking the kingpins to the cases. Also, starting with basics. I mean, we have some good forensics in the country, but we know there's been backlogs. We know it can be strengthened. We have heard systemically about the problems of detective services in the country. And we know, too, that we need prosecutor-led investigations where the NPA and those prosecutors try and also spend time with the Hawks, with investigators linking cases, making sure that the evidence is there to lead to successful prosecutions. We know there are problems in the firearm registry and the office of the police dealing with forensics and ballistics So it's really important that these cases get linked ballistically to the various firearms. We know that many firearms, especially assault rifles, get leaked into the system through private security, through Defence Force arms caches and the police. And we need to close those taps because clearly these guns are being used by these hands for hire.
All right, Lizette, thank you very much for your time and for speaking to us about this very concerning topic. Lizettle Lancater, she's from the Institute for Security Studies.